goody, here it comes.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show.
You are interested in the unknown, the mysterious, the unexplainable. That is why you are here.
Oh my God, don't stop now!
With your hosts, Brian, John, and Elaine.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show, the madhouse for film freaks and film fans of all types. I'm your host, Brian Coddington, joined by my fellow co-hosts and filmmakers, John and Elaine Woolscroft.
Ooh, my festive Yule log is firm and burning.
I can smell the burn.
Oh,
I should really go to a doctor.
You should get that looked at. So, we're on episode number 33.
Man, I thought we were on episode 714. I was way off.
You were
33.
inaccurate. I'm sorry.
I gotta check my math.
Maybe work on counting.
Yeah, it's not good.
I don't know how
That
to
kind of
count.
sucks.
Oh, that's upsetting.
So we're on episode 33, and we've got kind of, I guess, the first of our Christmassy themed episodes. 'Cause
We're getting there.
We got a couple.
We're getting festive.
So grab your eggnog if you're a weirdo that drinks that shit.
I love
Vomit.
eggnog.
Really?
Yeah.
Unless,
We
you know,
really never
just
all
kidding.
three agree on anything on the show, do we? Like, we never agree on it. We're in agreement on nothing.
I just want to say eggnog is fucking awesome.
Rum is awesome.
Well, you put the
Yeah.
rum in the eggnog.
Oh,
or
then
you
it's
put-
good.
Just rum
yeah.
for me.
Okay, fine. Fair
Hold
enough.
the nog.
You don't want it. You're not noggish.
No nog for me, please.
No nog for you.
Let's just say nog for an hour.
I don't think our listeners would like that too much. So
Yeah. But so we've got basically our episode's going to be about the movie Bad Santa 2.
that's
You know,
what we got
That's
for
what
you
we're
guys.
going to be. Electric Boogaloo, pretty much. And before we get to that part, because here's the thing, I thought that we were all going to hate this movie. I really did.
Well, after you saw it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. After I thought we were all going to hate this, and then I come here today and I find out, no,
Dude,
you guys like it.
So to be fair,
Yeah.
John and I quote this year round.
I
the first one.
understand that with the first one.
Yeah, the first one we
But
quoted
this
year round.
one is-
I just feel like there was maybe a special part of my dark black heart for the characters, and maybe normally in another package I would have been like, that movie was a fucking shitstorm, but like,
Hey, you chicken fuckers. Don't we have a news story to
Yeah,
get through
we
here?
do.
we do, but Brian got
We
upset.
do, but I just
wanted to make him feel better.
Meh.
I tried.
Okay, so what do we got about
Well,
news
we
today?
got a cool.
Well,
wait.
we're getting a little off course. Something we've never talked about before, Star Wars.
We just got a quickie
Yeah.
for y'all. I thought this was very, very cool. So, as all of y'all know, tickets for Rogue One went on sale as of midnight last night.
Yeah.
Well, midnight last night, the night that we're recording this. So,
Right, that's right.
So midnight on Tuesday night. They all went on sale during the the pre-sale for the film tickets.
Yeah.
For the premiere, and Fandango has already announced, just as of 9 hours into the sale, that they broke a record already. So
Holy shit.
So it has the right behind Force Awakens.
Oh, yeah.
That mouse at Disney's going to have hookers doing lines of coke off his giant boner, isn't he? Just so much money's going to be coming in.
I don't really think Mickey's into Coke.
Oh, yeah. Mickey's definitely into Coke.
Is he?
I'm freaking
yeah.
out. I'm going to punch a hurricane.
Oh, I thought he was more of an opium kind of guy. I could be wrong.
Okay.
Bad.
I mean, you figure that, a guy like
That's
Mickey,
really upsetting.
a guy like Mickey probably has an opium den with
That's what
the
I'm thinking.
Coke.
Opium den, and then just like lots of very sexually active people that he's just ready to stick in some holes, man. Is
You want to go rape Michael Eisner?
that what they did with Eisner?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
knew.
That's you always wondered what the fuck happened to Michael Eisner. Well, you know what? He ended up in the harem.
Yeah, I mean,
Get the olive oil ready. It's
I,
time to fuck his ass.
I always had a feeling he wanted Mickey to put it in his butt, but I never knew.
Yeah.
So anyway, you guys are disgusting.
Tell
Yes,
Mickey
we
tell Goofy to moisturize his hands.
Okay, you're done. But basically, one thing I just want to put this into context.
Yeah.
So Rogue One is right behind Force Awakens from last year. The Star Wars sequel.
Yeah, but
soft
it's this
reboot.
one isn't that. Yeah, but
This
one
one's
is
a
more,
spinoff,
It's a
but
prequel.
What I want to
Prequel to
say
New Hope.
is
Yeah.
that so the ticket sales for Force Awakens were so prolific
Mm-hmm.
that the tickets sold for just that movie in its pre-sales alone was more tickets than any film they had ever sold tickets for online during its entire theatrical run.
Wow.
So in the window that they opened up tickets, they sold more than any other film had amassed in online ticket sales in its entirety.
Wow.
Of its entire time of being in theaters.
That's
and this was
insane.
before it even freaking debuted.
That's insane.
Suck on that rest of movies.
So Rogue One's right behind that. I mean, I don't think anyone's surprised.
No, it's
I'm
fucking
getting
Star
more
Wars.
and more excited every day.
I don't think this is going to beat Force Awakens in any way. I think the ones in between the new
gonna make
trilogy.
dirty money, though.
It
It
is.
is.
But it's going to be it's going to be Force Awakens. This one's going to be a little bit of a drop off. Then the next part of that trilogy is going to maybe even beat Force Awakens, and then the next one will drop off. The in between ones I think are still going to make dirty money.
I
but
don't
not
know
anywhere
it.
near
I
as
don't
much.
know if this is going to be that much of a drop off though, because if you think about this, I mean,
Well, we know the ending.
well, yeah, pretty much. But if you think about it, Force Awakens, their big thing was that they're trying to not be the prequels. You know what I mean? That's all they had to do.
Yeah.
That's it.
The bar was low.
The bar was so low.
Super
at that
low.
point. It's just don't be the prequels. Don't be Jar Jar and all that CG shit and everything.
Yeah, no
like that.
CG, no mental, defective rabbits.
As long as you're not that, you're golden. This movie, on the other hand, it's got the problem of, one, basically being the prequel we should have had. If you think about this is a prequel to
It would have
New
been
Hope.
amazing.
This should have been it, you know?
Yeah, of course.
And it's got kind of that issue. Along with that, people are already comparing it and saying, oh, well, it's not going to be nearly as good as Force Awakens. Oh, can we really have a Star Wars movie?
It's not. It's
Can we
not
really
gonna
have
be
a
as good
Star
as
Wars
Force
movie
It'll be
without...
better than Force Awakens because Force Awakens is average.
Right, but here's the thing is the idea now is... Okay, well, I'm not going to go in there.
I just got
We
double
both
looks
gave,
by
we
both
both
of you.
gave
Yeah.
you such intense side eye. It's unreal. It's too
Yeah.
bad that our listeners can only hear and not experience the side eye. But I feel like it got quiet for a beat.
It did.
That was where the side eye came in, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, I liked Force Awakens when it was called New Hope, and Harrison Ford wasn't an old man.
I liked
Oh,
it when your face was
Jesus
your face and you
Christ.
can suck it. Suck it.
Please send all of your angry tweets to Brian Coddington on Twitter.
And as I've said before, I will forward those tweets to the Unreal J Wolves. Okay, but no, I just feel that this one has the challenge mainly because of the fact that it doesn't involve Skywalkers. You know what I mean?
That we know of.
That we know of. Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
You know. So there's that. Plus, this one's got Darth Vader in it, and that's already going to cause people to go, "Oh my
People are
god!"
losing their freaking
They're losing their
minds.
shit
It's
over
kinda
it.
Great. It's kind of great.
I hope he's just in it for 4 minutes at the supermarket. Just, these eggs look damaged. Just like... It's like, oh, is that it?
He has his own case that looks just like his Vader suit that he puts the eggs in to protect them. I bring my own
well,
plastic.
well, what it would be? It would be with the same kind of container that he's in his
That's
meditation.
what I'm saying. It would just be
be
like his egg, his own egg.
Mr. Vader, would you like paper or plastic? Plastic. You monster.
So, I mean, there's a lot to look forward to in the film. I think it's cool. It's already breaking some major...
They did say, though, that there is not going to be a sequel to this film.
to this one?
Yes,
Well-
Kathleen Kennedy already said.
Well, for
there's
Christ's
not to
sake,
be a
I mean,
sequel.
it probably goes right up to the
It-
bumper
and that's
of
what I'm saying is.
New Hope. How could it?
Well, the thing is, I've noticed that people have been saying, "Oh, well, it's going to be terrible because there's not going to be a sequel." You don't need a sequel.
Since
We
when
already
is
have
that
Sequel's
a thing?
fucking A New Hope.
Since when is that a thing that people say? I feel like people are like, it's going to be terrible because there is a sequel. Usually that's total shit.
God forbid we have a standalone movie.
Right? That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Of
That's
any
weird.
kind.
That's
Any
weird.
kind.
That
Well,
people
you have
think that
you have a
that's,
standalone animated show. You have a Star Wars Rebels, which is amazing.
Oh yeah, that shit's great.
That shit's great. Doesn't have any Skywalkers in it.
Yeah, and that's true. So it is nice to kind of get away from the main family of the saga, But it's already doing really great. I don't think anyone's going to be surprised to see it probably being the biggest grossing film of the year, even though it's being released at the end of. I do think it's going to pull in the money and the numbers.
Definitely.
Well, by the numbers on Fandango, I think it's clear that Santa has already come early for this film, and it's not going to be a bad holiday season for him. Speaking of bad and Santa, we saw
Yeah.
Bad Santa too.
The
And we
king of transitions.
And you
everyone.
already knew that that's what we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
So
okay.
So the first Bad Santa.
Yeah, well, let's go
ahead and
backwards.
Let's go back to
Let's go back in
2003.
The year
Which
is 2003.
This is one of the only good things of 2003, I feel.
I graduated high school in 2003. That was awesome.
04.
Oh, bye.
Yeah, 04. Suck it. Class of 04, bitch.
03
Right
was
up in
good.
here, both of us.
03 was good. That was the only good thing about that year.
Didn't we go to war in 03?
We did.
We did.
I still
Yeah.
graduated high school. So basically, we have the gross out movie genre is kind of where this comes from, where it's a lot of like really outrageous.
This
jokes.
was one of the first.
And right, this was kind of a pioneer in that regard, because it was funny that they made it a Christmas film, but it was just so depraved.
Yeah.
And it's not very Christmassy.
It's the anti-Christmas film.
But it's like
That's the kind of two Christmas movies you get. Sorry to
it's true. But the nice thing about this film though is that it presents its own premise. This film in person form is kind of a dick.
Yeah.
And the film the original film in no way goes back on that.
No.
And I think that that's really, really important that they went for full force for,
Yeah, they did not hold back anything.
and they didn't go back and tack on some weird, sappy ending that didn't really fit. They wrapped it up.
Yeah, they did.
And they didn't make you feel shitty about it, but it didn't turn into anything that it wasn't. I mean, at the very end, spoiler alert, Billy Bob Thornton gets shot a lot.
Yeah.
And he doesn't die, which is great, but it's still a really messed up situation.
He ends up
with the
doesn't
whole
he
film.
end doesn't he end up with like the Santa obsessed fetish girl and
Well,
that whole thing?
She's just living in the house that he was squatting in.
Yeah, I
She's
was
just
gonna say.
permanently live there. And by the end of that
so
movie,
like that
though,
is kind of the happy ending to it.
I'm not saying it didn't have a happy ending.
yeah,
I'm
but
just
it's
saying
one of those
it was,
ironic happy
It
endings.
was in the same vein as the rest of the film.
Yeah.
So it went for something bold and didn't shy away from what it was doing.
It's kind of like an anti-hero movie. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it
Yeah.
is. Like
and
this,
in that, and I think in
like
that
that.
aspect, the actual sequel, Bad Santa 2, which we all saw, I think it stayed in that same vein.
No.
Now, I think this is interesting because this is, a totally different director.
yeah.
Mark Waters did this one, and most people know him from Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Which he directed actually in 2004. I don't think he had as much style as Terry Zwigoff did in the first
you also,
one.
on top of that, the first one was executive produced by the Coen brothers.
That makes a big difference.
So
it does make a big
that,
difference.
Like my biggest
and they help
criticism,
punch up the script.
and that's the thing is my biggest criticism regarding the sequel is that it is not nearly anywhere close as edgy, as smart, and as clever
It was not as smart or clever. I will give you that.
as the original.
I will give you that.
And that, I think, is because the Coen brothers did help out with the script.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I thought was really interesting is this script has been in production and has been and it's been worked on for a really long time.
Yeah, 13 years.
And something that really helped is they kept giving it to Billy Bob Thornton. And this is what's funny because, he's such an acclaimed actor and he does have a lot of skill. For him to be in something really zany like this, him being a great actor, I think is helpful because a lot of times he sent the script back and said, no, Billy, Willie has been, his character. He said, Willie wouldn't say that. Willie wouldn't do that. He had a really thorough understanding of the character, even though the character, we're not talking about an Oscar film here. you know?
No, but the thing too is, and this is the one positive thing I had about the film, was just that, when Billy Bob Thornton is going for the turn, so to speak, where he almost has that Grinch moment. That's what I kind of call it. That's what I call it. When you see that his shriveled heart grows 3 times too big.
Yeah.
Like when you see those moments, that's where his skill as an actor shines.
He's amazing. He's always
that's
amazing.
It. But I'm going to be honest with you. I did not have fun watching Bad Santa 2. I loved Bad Santa.
See,
the
now,
first one.
maybe I just went in thinking it was going to be a festive Yule turd. Like, maybe I just went in because I was really worried.
Yeah.
Maybe I thought it was going to be so awful that it was just meh, and I was blown away by that. And that's sad. You know?
I mean, I wouldn't say it is so awful. I wouldn't say it's Ghostbusters level awful. But I
he went there, guys.
Well, that's
I
only
did.
because a bunch of broads were.
mean, Jesus Christ!
Get back in the kitchen, ladies.
Am I right?
Stupid girls.
Did you have a constructive point of any kind?
Yeah, actually, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Send your angry tweets to Brian Cutting.
Jesus fucking Christ!
But this movie suffers from, and hey guys, we got a great episode on it, so go watch it again, download it again, comment on it.
Sequels, bitches.
Yeah. We did it on sequels. That this movie is it ups everything to the point of absurdity.
Ridiculousness.
So the humor becomes even more intense. The story is essentially the same story, but there's no character arc. And that's what happens in a lot of sequels. The character arc is gone. You have the same story, and then they have to up everything. I call it the Ace Ventura 2 syndrome. Because a lot of people, they think, oh, Ace Ventura is like a human cartoon, and like, okay, if you watch the second movie in the actual cartoon, yeah, he is. But if you go, then you go back and watch the original one, he's eccentric, he's weird, he's over the top, but nowhere near what your imagination is of it because of the sequel.
Yeah,
and his eccentricity is his strength. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the thing. That's where his intelligence comes from. It's his eccentricity.
It's true. And I mean, I will say I liked this movie and I had fun.
Yeah.
But what we're here to talk about is whether it was good or not. And I think
I don't think this was a good movie.
I think it was enjoyable. Like, I enjoyed myself, but it wasn't necessarily a good film.
I laughed a lot.
You did laugh a lot. I was there.
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't.
When Billy Bob Thornton at one point, he's talking to Christina Hendricks, and he says, something like, I don't really go in for that romantic, sappy shit, but you have some gigantic titties, and that ain't no shit.
Yeah.
I thought John was going to have a stroke in the theater. He laughed so hard because it just, I think there were some shining moments where they really captured, the spirit of Willie. But I think at the same time, it was retreading a lot of past things that they covered in the first
It was the same
film.
movie.
The
only thing is, it was the same movie, but it didn't have nearly as much heart as the first one did.
It's true.
The first one was basically about a giant piece of shit who grows a sense of heart. Like he warms up.
Just a little. Like,
Just
he
a little.
finds a reason to get out of bed.
Yes, and that's the thing, is he didn't find the and then and my biggest problem with this is you get to the sequel, and all that's thrown in the fucking trash in the first 5 minutes, and he's back to being a shit again. I mean, I guess you could say, well, that's just his luck, and there's no happy endings. He even says that in the opening monologue, but I just found them, like, I view sequels as adding something new and expanding the universe, and, making the point of having a second chapter a necessity. And, like, this is kind of with not only this movie, but also Elf. I hope they never do an Elf sequel.
I don't think they are.
I don't think because if they
will.
did, it
Will
would fail.
Ferrell's already turned it down multiple times.
Because it would fail. And it's the same thing with when they did the Anchorman sequel. It failed. Because these movies were perfect on their own, and they didn't really need it.
Is it fair to say that doing a sequel of a comedy is so much more likely to fail?
Yeah.
Because you don't need a sequel to a comedy.
Well, the movie itself is a punchline, and once you know the punchline, you don't need the setup anymore.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. I mean, like I said, I
what you guys
had fun.
What you guys are overlooking, too, is what was so redeeming about the first movie was that there was a little kid.
Yes.
And his relationship with that little kid. Now, that little kid's a weirdo
21-year-old.
Yeah, and there's
man-child.
There's nothing to connect the audience to, and I refuse to believe it was his relationship with Kathy Bates in the movie.
Oh, no. That was bullshit.
That was the one part of the film that I really thought struggled, because it was when they were clearly trying to be the most outrageous, and it was the most obvious, because some of the details that she would give about Willie's upbringing, I felt like it was almost like taking too many steps back, because we already saw, Willie for who he was in the first film. I didn't need to know what he was like as a kid all these years later.
It wasn't necessary.
Especially because it was so long ago. Maybe if this came out like, boom, 2005, okay, fine. But I mean, this movie is fucking old at this point.
Right.
But I think one of the main things is just the story that she's telling, just like a quick quip or whatever of when Willie was born, and just like saying that she was like 13 when she had him. Like, that's that happens, but they were just saying it to be outrageous and just to get a reaction. It's kind of like, John, you tell me this story sometimes on The Simpsons, where, you know, they've given Homer all these, you know, terrible attributes, and finally there was a scene that they were writing where he like smelled bad or something, and then and then who was it? Someone was like, "Oh, he smells now too."
Yeah, it's
like,
one of the producers on the show. It's
okay.
like, okay, you guys ran out of things. I mean, this is during the golden era of like the Conan years, and when they were writing,
Right.
you know, like,
"Oh, he smells
like season
now.
3 to season 7, you know, and like, oh, he smells now because you guys ran out of ways to make him stupid and obnoxious, and you know, and to fall
that's
down.
kind of how I felt about that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like, you know, his mom was a teen, like young
Oh,
teen
yeah,
mom now.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I
Like,
mean, my
that was tiresome.
my thing with Kathy Bates is honestly, she peaked at Annie Wilkes. That was it. She peaked.
I like her. I still like her.
I don't really care for her because like I look at what she did with that particular movie, and you can't get better Psycho than that. You know, in my opinion, I think the only one you get is maybe Norman Bates.
Yeah.
Like that. That's it. But I guess
That was like kind of early in her career, brah.
yeah, I know.
That was a long time ago.
No, that was 1990.
90, yeah, I think
That wasn't that early in her career.
Okay, fair
You know,
enough.
I mean, it was early-ish. It wasn't early.
Yeah.
It's
I just
not.
mean, like-
It's not My Best Friend's a Vampire, in which she was the mom in that too.
I think she peaked in Waterboy, her finest performance.
But I guess for me, I felt that they tried to push the whole, mother narrative, which a lot of comedy sequels do that. Like Austin Powers in Goldmember, they did the same shit with Michael Caine
with
as
his
the
dad,
father,
yep.
and like that's a cop out in my opinion.
Daddy
that's
wasn't there.
Yeah, Daddy wasn't there, but it's a cop out in storytelling. I'm
Well,
like,
it's when you don't have anything else to say.
Yeah, exactly. And that's my problem with this film. Is like, okay, you wait 13 years to go ahead and make this film. Okay, I get it. You went ahead and did the script revisions. You're telling me that there wasn't any idea better than doing the parent shows up, gonna do a heist thing, basically retread the entire first movie thing.
Yeah,
like there's nothing else for this character to do.
For as much time as they had to work with it, they could have done something really fresh, I suppose.
Yeah. And it just felt to me like the jokes were not nearly as edgy. And that could be a problem of the fact that when Bad Santa, the first film, came out, there was nothing else really like it.
It was so
time.
trailblazing. And
You know?
it's still like a classic.
It is. There was nothing else like it. You had never seen a movie, short of, the horror, genre, really, taking, Christmas and putting it on its fucking head. But this kind of says, okay, we're going to take Christmas and we're going to basically add every horrible thing you can think of.
Well, I mean, they made it a black comedy.
Yes. Yeah. But that didn't exist back then. So it is more of a shocking thing where it's like now, I'm watching Bad Santa 2 in the theater, in which, by the way, there were only 2 other people in the theater.
Our theater was packed.
No,
I
went last night. I went last night. Yeah,
we went the night before.
We went, yeah.
Our theater
At first
was
it wasn't,
busy.
and then it got
Yeah,
got
a bunch
busy.
of assholes came in late. Top 10 things I fucking hate.
All right, hey guys, just real quick side note. If you're late to a movie, I don't care if your eyes are bad. Don't suddenly use the flashlight on your phone to make sure you're not stepping on
You don't
feet.
fucking need
you
it.
motherfucker.
And
How
also,
late was he?
It was
It was-
2 separate people.
it was 5 minutes in the movie. So they'd missed all the trailers plus 5 minutes of the movie.
That's more
That's
than 5
late.
minutes. That's like,
Well, I mean, 5
that's
minutes
10
of the
to
movie
15.
alone, but it probably was like 20 with all the
Yeah.
trailers. I'd also like to add on, if you're late to a movie, you've lost all rights to get up and go to the bathroom. I will move my feet for you once. I'm not fucking doing it again. Go fuck yourself. Pee your pants.
Listen. There's movie theater etiquette,
Right.
And you
Get it right.
you fucking piss before you go into the theater.
Darn tootin'.
Okay, and if you have to go, honestly, if you know that you've got a weak bladder, you pick a seat on the ends.
I mean, we sit on the aisle anyway because we like a solid escape plan from all situations.
Oh,
That's just how the rules.
After
roll.
a Dark Night,
Oh, I didn't mean it like
you
that.
kind of have to.
Effer, I didn't mean it like that. I was just being funny, and you made it really bad.
When I went to see that movie that night, I thought, we saw the midnight screening. I was like, what if somebody just came in here and shot up the
He
movie
literally
theater?
did. He
Oh,
like,
you seriously did?
Yeah, I'd be
told
like,
me
that'd be
that.
like a Christopher Nolan thing, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
he told
and
me that
then,
on the way home.
then we saw the news when we got home. And
I didn't know about it until the next day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, he literally did say that.
But yeah, anyway, getting back to this film, there were 2 people in the theater, and I didn't hear a single laugh.
Really?
We heard a lot in ours.
None.
Yeah.
What
Well, it was
movie theater did you go
busier.
to?
We went to Settlers Ridge in Robinson.
Okay.
Tuesday's also bargain night, so maybe a lot of people were like, $5.
Our bargain night is not on until Monday. It's a Monday bargain night. So I went on a Tuesday night.
Okay, so
Not
maybe a
whole
lot of people were there Monday.
It could be that way.
Yeah. Because I feel like of all films, like that's one where you were like, maybe, you know what? I'll see it for $5. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that definitely would have been a $5 like don't
Yeah.
waste your money thing.
I'm sorry you paid full price.
Hey, I told my girlfriend, I was like, hey, you know what? I got popcorn and an icy out of it. So I mean that's
true.
kind of good.
It's very true.
But yeah, I felt that they really, for 13 years, you're telling me this is the best you can do.
I mean, it was a long gestation period
You know?
for the film Baby that we got.
Yeah.
But
Well-
I don't know, like maybe my bar is like that low right now because Anchorman 2 was fucking terrible. That was awful.
Zoolander 2 was terrible.
And so I was
Yeah.
kind of in that mindset of like, oh, this is going to be wretched. And it wasn't wretched. So maybe that's what kind of
happened.
skewed
you
me.
ate some ember berries before seeing it, didn't you?
Remember Thurman and remember Pink Elephant and remember sandwiches. Yeah, remember Gamma. Yeah, remember.
Sorry, that was like really fun. And I just lost my mind for a second. I apologize.
Oh, God.
They did recycle a lot of the jokes. Like, he didn't have to make sandwiches again just because it was
he didn't.
a catchphrase from the first one.
He really liked sandwiches, okay? He found his passion, goddammit.
And of course, he works at a sandwich shop.
You know, couldn't get the name Subway.
Yeah. Good for them for not just being like, I work at Subway. Oh, shit, kid. Those are good sandwiches.
so many
That
jokes.
would be the most blatant.
So many
That's
jokes
big
could have
right
been made though, like with the Subway franchise, knowing like this
Yeah.
film, like they could have made a lot of like Jared jokes.
They could have. They very
Well,
well
Subway
could
would have been like, "Fuck no!" Like, because you're not allowed to do that. Like, it wouldn't be a advertising agreement because you're not allowed to disparage the
Yeah.
brand when you use it.
Well, they kind of disparage themselves by having a.
Well,
pedophile.
yeah. I mean, they
Look, kid, the only fresh buns I like are when I'm butt fucking. I know what you're talking about, Willie.
See, that's a joke that would be good in the film.
Hey,
That would have been good to say that, but no, that wasn't in there.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't laugh like nonstop
Yeah.
or like have a headache from laughing, but the times I laughed, like,
Yeah.
I laughed hard. Like it was pretty funny. I
What
don't
did
know.
What did you think of Christina Hendricks' character? Because I was kind of meh.
Flat and boring.
Good.
She was like
Thank
furniture.
you.
She was
no
the same
Laura-
character from the first one.
Well, she was no
No,
Laura like
no,
Gilmore. I'll take that.
the other one had a bit more depth to her. You know,
Wait, what did Gilmore Girl do that had
Go to Gilmore
any more
Girl.
depth? What did she do?
There was something gritty about her, you know.
she was
wasn't
more
overly
on his
innocent.
level.
Yeah, she wasn't overly innocent or
And-
too sweet. Like I do think that having as simple as this is, like having a deeper voice and just seeming a little bit raunchier,
I
like
couldn't
she just
stand her voice.
not
Gilmore Girl, but
Christina Hendricks. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was too sweet. It just didn't fit quite right.
Also, I'm going to be
with the
honest with you.
situation.
For a movie that's supposed to be, you know, saying that it's utterly raunchy and everything, she wasn't exactly wearing anything to show off the goods.
Oh,
That was upsetting.
oh,
That was very upsetting.
I feel so bad for you both.
I'm just saying.
I'm sorry that she wasn't objectified like in so many other films.
Fucking Bad Santa 2's not objectifying women to begin
no.
with.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Well, she was the only one that wasn't, and my grateful heart points
God.
that out. That's what I'm saying.
Look, I'm not saying they should have objectified her. She should have just not been wearing a shirt with glitter on her nipples.
Such an asshole.
It's the 90s, okay? So we're progressive
The
now.
90s, okay.
Well, I'm just saying, you got a movie like this, and they...
It was a little. I think they had a lot that they could have done, and they didn't, though, too, because. I thought Ryan Hansen was funny in this.
Who was he?
He was the husband, Christina Hendricks' husband.
Forgettable.
Yeah.
He's really good though, and I think that he was wasted.
didn't use him.
I felt like they could have done way more because he's probably best known for playing Dick Casablancas on Veronica Mars, and he just plays a total douchebag on that show.
Went over my head right now.
He's just very funny. Like they did like a series of short films after the fact. That were all from his perspective called Play It Again, Dick.
Okay.
And it was very meta. It was very funny. Like, he was really good in it. And I felt like he was wasted here
I think
because
they
he could have been
started that with
hilarious.
the first shot of him. Like, they went ahead and introduced him as kind of a goofy character.
Yeah, as like
In
kind
the
of a
first
douche.
one, because he's like, hey, guys, go out there. And And they completely wasted him.
I know. I thought that they could have, and even from a storytelling standpoint, regardless of who was playing him, I thought that they could have done a nice job with, I don't know, something about him bopping his secretary and.
Or here's the thing, maybe show us the shoe thing.
Yeah,
that's the thing. They had a setup, and it's like, okay, do that thing with the shoe.
Well, they clearly wanted it to just be a
it.
funny joke, but they didn't have enough creativity to actually make us laugh with a sight gag. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Like if they went ahead and just showed
cop-out.
him like just like over the table and they jam the shoe up his ass, like that would have been funny.
Maybe. Notice John and I didn't laugh.
No.
Maybe. I mean, like they could have done stuff though. Like you said, I mean, they could have figured out what worked. So I did think like I said, it was nice to see these characters again, but this wasn't a good film necessarily.
No. Yeah, if you like raunchy humor and you like the characters in the first one, you'll probably enjoy
you'll
this.
have an okay time.
If you never saw the first one, and if you are bothered by extremely politically incorrect humor, this is probably not for you. But
I mean it's
a classic sequel. It's Ghostbusters 2. It's Horrible Bosses 2. It's that middling like average sequel that just plays off the first one.
First of all, I love Ghostbusters 2, and Horrible Bosses 2 suffered from everybody talking over each other. Like that was
you like this show?
No, we're doing pretty good this episode.
Yeah.
But no, I guess I just put this kind of below those films in terms of what I got out of it.
Right. Well, one thing that I do think is interesting is in the years that have passed since the first film, like John had said, a non-politically correct film.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in a world now where the cheapest of jokes, a lot of society's trying to do better. And I'm not saying necessarily that I didn't laugh at the cheapest of the jokes, but in comedy, you actually taught me this, John. It's called punching down. When you do like the easy joke to someone, like in this case, Willie's partner in the film is still in this one as well. And even though he tried to kill Billy Bob in the first one, he's Marcus.
Yeah.
And he's played by the actor Tony Cox, who is a little person.
Yeah.
And they do a lot of jokes about that.
Yeah.
And I feel like in a society now where so much of entertainment and discussion is trying to get away from punching down in that way, I wonder if this movie is going to feel very dated for its time.
It didn't feel that way to me. It just felt that I had already seen this.
Right.
Like there's TV shows like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which they punch down every week.
That's true.
That's just what they do.
That's very true.
And you've got also movies like Superbad that did the same sort of thing. And then there's been, and like, all the Seth Rogen films that have all been, adultish, over the top humor.
Yeah.
Where it's like you come to Bad Santa, which Bad Santa was the first of them, really.
Right.
And you get to the sequel, and it's like, I've already seen this shit before.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is that, in 2003, the jokes that were in your face and groundbreaking for their lack of any regard for correction, I'm just wondering in the year 2016, when we are trying to do better, if, like, saying the word midget and trying to be funny with it, if that doesn't seem just a little dated.
It's an interesting concept.
That's kind of
films are where we go for a comedy, I should say, from a reprieve of political correctness, is where we can laugh at where we are, where we're going, where we were. So I don't think so, because it is just a film. It's a film about an alcoholic guy who has very little reason to live and hates everything, just saying whatever comes into his disease-riddled mind. So of course it's going to be riddled with horrible comments, and it's shock humor, but with a purpose, I feel. So I think everybody will be able to put it in the context of the fact that it is a film and it's that type of raunchy film. I would have
liked it to be raunchier.
Right. Well, but I'm saying, like, I'm not saying that, God knows I'm hard to offend.
No.
I'm not saying that the raunchiness bothered me. I'm just saying that making a bunch of little person jokes, I mean, just are we in that space anymore? Because you're saying, like, the characters as if he was real, but I'm talking about...
You're looking at it from a societal point. You're looking at has our society moved on to the point where maybe we are a little bit more offended. And
or maybe trying to do a little better and be more clever and not punch down. That's what I'm saying. Like, because for this film, people had to write it, produce it, direct it. I mean, there were a ton of humans around this film that made it in the year 2016.
Right.
And I'm just wondering if it doesn't feel a little dated to go in that direction, especially when it's a retread, to a society that, we're trying to get away from that, or at least we should.
I think
in a lot of respects.
Oh, go ahead, John.
Sorry. If they didn't do that, though, they would just say the film didn't have any balls.
Well, no, and I'm not saying that I'm not saying that they, in that regard, like, the fact that they went full steam was great. I'm just saying, like, maybe there wasn't a reason to make this film at all.
That's where I'm at. Is I don't think, and I'm not looking at it necessarily from a, has our humor evolved type of thing, and that's, I think, what you're trying to make the point of, is maybe in 13 years our humor is not the same. I'm looking at it from the standpoint of the first film did its job really well, to the point where it's a classic. It's in the same vein as Scrooged is.
It's an unexpected element.
It's one of those holiday movies where if you're sick and tired of holiday shit, you turn this thing on. It's the anti-Christmas movie. That's pretty much what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it did its job well the first time. I don't think there was a necessity other than to make more money to make
a
this
sequel.
one.
Well, yeah, they didn't get the sequel out in time, so then they just waited long enough for it to be nostalgic. So
yeah, and that's very typical.
Yeah,
and that's nostalgia fuckery. As I said, it's the same bullshit.
And that's the problem when now, because after this movie, we've had bad teachers, we've had bad moms. It's a bad Santa isn't that relevant anymore. We've had bad everything now.
Bad garbage man is going to be the next
bad gynecologist.
Horrible bosses. I mean, it's come up to this whole genre, but like I said, when you're the pioneer of it, if you try to cash in on it all these years later, I don't know.
It just seems weak. I mean, I know I get that you guys thought it was funny at parts, but I mean, personally, I think that it didn't go far enough in terms of humor. You watch the first one and it's clever, it's very raunchy. And I watch this one, it's like, okay, I don't really give a shit why his name is Fuckstick.
Yeah.
He tried to fuck a monkey. Okay, that's not funny.
No, and those were the parts where it failed. Like I said, every time we delved into Willie's past, it just showed how hard the movie was trying. Yeah. And I do think that not having a strong supporting cast really suffered, because there weren't a lot of characters in this film.
There weren't.
And there wasn't a lot for the characters that were ancillary to do. You think about the first one.
Kathy Bates in a toilet watching The Bachelor. That was pretty much it.
Yeah, and I mean, and you think about the first one, you had like John Ritter and Bernie Mac, who both played awesome.
God, they were hilarious.
And rest in peace, both of y'all.
Most of that cast is dead.
I know. Yeah. It's a horrible game to play in the first movie of like who's still alive, because not everybody.
Yeah.
And but when I think of how funny John Ritter was in that first one,
he was really funny.
I mean, that was what this film was missing. It just that the universe wasn't big enough. It was too encapsulated into this dynamic that none of us really wanted. Nobody wanted to meet Willie's mom.
Plus, the thing too is, the whole deal with the first Bad Santa is that he's a horrible person to kids. Did you see much of that in this one? Not really. You had one scene, maybe, where he's at the rich person's house, and he's got the kids going up, but it wasn't nearly as deep into adult humor as it was with the first one. It wasn't nearly as much.
Well, I think the underlying issues, and you get this a lot with horror movies. The reason that this didn't work is the great horror movies that really stay with us, that really scare us, that really have a place in our heart, are movies that are made by talented people that create a world that is believable, even when it's a fantastical world of characters that we care about, scenarios that we care about. So then when something frightening happens, we actually feel it. You can't just show frightening imagery and expect us to be scared. Now, some people get scared of anything. I'm not saying for everybody, but you can't just be like boo and like that doesn't scare me, because you haven't built any tension, you haven't made me care about anything. And the problem with the comedy in the second movie is there's no redeemable characters anywhere to be seen, and everything is just so outrageous. In the first movie, the reason that the outrageous humor landed so well was because it was around slightly normal people, slightly normal circumstances, so that when something outrageous or raunchy happened, it really landed. In this movie, it was just one raunchy or disgusting thing right after another with nothing to ground it. So therefore, the humor doesn't work if we don't have any context of appreciating it.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, the other thing too was in the second film, what's the whole plot that they're stealing from someone who's already stealing?
That's just justify them stealing from a charity.
Yeah, it's like, okay, it would be more fitting for me, and you could say it's a horrible thing if they were just stealing from the charity because they're stealing from the charity. It
would have raised the stakes in a way that you said you wanted.
And that's what I'm saying, is if you're going to go, balls to the wall there, then go balls to the wall there. You going ahead and saying, well, we're stealing from someone who's stealing.
He's like a drunken Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there you go.
It doesn't really play for me.
I mean, and there you go. That could have been him being horrible to kids.
Yes.
Though, I mean, you guys said that he had no arc and there was nothing redeemable. He did want to go and give the money back to the kids.
Yeah.
Because he had, the moment. Like you said,
he had the Grinch moment.
So he did kind of want to do the right thing. It just was kind of a murky path to get there that wasn't really good storytelling.
No, it wasn't. I mean, that's a sequel for you, though.
Yeah.
One quick side note, just very, very to end this thing. Didn't he say at the end of the first movie in his letter to Thurman that he got horribly shot in the liver and that it was completely fucked, and that he's still an alcoholic in this movie? Wasn't his liver destroyed?
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that's right.
Was that actually true?
Well, that was the joke.
Didn't hit any major organs except my liver, which was fucked anyways. Ha ha.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
You have to add a little bit more Mississippi on that.
God damn it, kid! Why do you talk about yourself like that?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm gonna say this: if you like the first one, go check this one out.
Well, maybe Redbox it.
I wouldn't Redbox it. Maybe when it comes on to Netflix in 3 years, you can check it out.
I imagine this one's coming to Netflix and Blu-ray probably pretty quick.
Oh yeah,
I think
it had 25 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Oopsies.
Not a lot of people liked it, including people in the audience.
Yeah,
didn't like it. Usually, the audience will go ahead and balance out, kind of like the critics.
Bit.
Like the critics will be like, "Oh well, I hate this movie," and the
That's
audience,
kind of us, though.
Totally.
No, we're not going. I hate this movie. So,
Elaine.
Yeah.
Twa.
Thank you.
We all three of us got a twa.
Oh, I thought it was just you guys' thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So go check it out.
We all
if
have to
you're
be
interested in that
twats.
sort of thing.
But we hope you enjoyed our insights, and if not, you can send your complaints to @theunrealjohnwolves.
Yes,
on
please
Twitter.
send it to him. Don't send it to me.
Bring it, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
6.5 out of 10. I give it that movie.
You give it a 6.5 out of 10?
Yeah.
Are we ranking these things now?
I just did.
You just threw that out of nowhere.
I just threw a curveball.
I did want to ask you. Did Body by Jake come after you yet?
No, because he's a pussy.
Did you go after him yet?
Did you go after him? Because he has a Twitter account, right?
Well,
Get your shit together.
Come on,
man. I'm going to tweet at him now and just be like, if you got any kind of a set, maybe you can pull him out of your boyfriend's purse and come over here and try to fight me, bitch.
Whoa. Since when are you inviting him to the house to fight?
Oh, it's okay. He'll get halfway up the stairs and trip and then cry and want his juice. So he won't even get up here.
You're such a dick.
You really are.
I had no idea.
Well, his whole workout regiment's a scam anyways. His whole legacy is just a lie.
Oh, my God. All right. Well, now that John has picked a fight again.
Yeah, so if Body by Jake wants to go contact us, you can find us at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
More like Man Boobies by Jake.
Oh, Jesus. And Google Plus at Psycho Show. If you have a favorite movie that you would love for us to go ahead and review, or a question you want to throw our way, you can contact us at our website, cinemapsychoshow.com, and make sure to subscribe to us on iTunes to catch a new episode available every Friday.
I will fuck you to death, Jake. Good night.